Hi, I'm Chris, and in this video we're taking a look at question 20 from an SAT practice test. So in theory, if you're on question 20 in the math, it means it is going to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest question in that section. So if you had trouble with this one, don't worry, but let's take a look at how we solve this. So they give us this equation, x plus 9 times y minus 9 equals 0. And the question is asking us to find the smallest possible value of x squared plus y squared. Okay, so first let's start here. If you have something that has already been factored out, which this has, and it's equal to 0, that means that we want to set each individual factor equal to 0. So for this equation to solve it, we have x plus 9 equals 0, which means that x would equal negative 9. Or we have y minus 9 equals 0, which means that y would equal 9. Now they don't have to both equal those values at the same time. It's one or the other. And I think on this problem, that's the issue that students run into a lot of times if they miss this question, is because students plug in a negative 9 for x and they plug in a 9 for y both at the same time. And they come up with 162 as their result. But let's take a look at the or part of this because that's the most important part. So let's try out two scenarios. X squared plus y squared, if we start with x equals negative 9, then that would be negative 9 quantity squared, whoops, plus y squared. And y could be anything, which means that this could be 81 plus, oops, 81 plus y squared, and we can plug in any value for y. So what we have to ask ourselves is if we want the smallest possible value, then we want to plug in something for y to make y squared the smallest possible value that it could be. And anytime you have a squared term, if you're looking for the smallest possible value, anything squared cannot be negative. So the smallest possible value is your first non-negative number, which is 0. So 81 plus 0 would be 81. That's the smallest number that we could get when we plug in x equals negative 9. Let's see how it works when we plug in y equals 9. Let's see if we could get something even smaller. Because remember, it's either or, whichever one gives us the smallest result. So we do have to check both. Here we would have x squared plus 9 squared, which is x squared plus 81. And very similar logic applies here. The smallest possible value we could get for x squared is 0, which means the smallest result that we could get, no matter what, whether we're plugging in a negative 9 for x or if we're plugging in a 9 for y, the smallest result we could have on this question is 81, either way you shake it, and that's going to be the correct answer for number 20. For more, please feel free to check out our other videos, and thanks for watching.